are you doing, Majobe?
I'm fine.
Everything is fine?
Everything is okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So, Majobe, how did you start your business? What happened to Technical Horizon?
Well, I'll be very happy to say something about this. You know, in 2009, when I returned from North Africa, I came back home. That's the Gambia. And what I did in 2009 was that I refused to be hired by anyone, first of all. So I decided to open my own company. And how did I do that? Well, I had no money in 2009. I had nothing actually. So my father was having a piece of land in Banjul, like in Tobacco Road, that's 56 Tafsir Demambay Street. So what I did was I spoke to him and I asked him to allocate me an area, of this land. And well, he gave me the area and he gave me some tools, but I had no power, I had nothing. So what I did was I went to Reliance Financial Services. I'm not making any publicity, right? And I had to take a loan to go to NAWEC so that I can have a meter. So that I can have a meter to have electricity in order to start my welding company, And then I took a loan and successfully it was, they gave me some money and I went to NAWEC. It was about $200. That should be about $8,000 at that time. Yeah, a little. Exactly. So I got the meter and I had to struggle to get some money to go and register the business, and I just call it Technical Horizon, and it was registered. I started working, I started doing my marketing, going here and there. But trust me, within a period of 3 months, I grew up. Within a period of like 6 months, my turnover was over $1 million. Yeah, I will tell you. How did I do this? Determination, hard work. And you see, in our societies today, when you want to do something good, you must know how to close your ears so that you won't hear certain people. Because the only thing they can offer you is to just keep you dizzy, sleeping, So Technical Horizon happened to grow, with the help of Balas Nedam. I won a big contract there, and I won another one, and another one, and another one. And then, you see, I happened to get another contract within Brikama still. That's where was the Brikama Fish Market. And I have to thank Mr. Madiba Sonko. He lives in Provot, that's Iwatechi Zaki INC. It was with a Japanese company. And that job was also successful. Then from there, a tender was won with Gamcell, and then it became a company, and, with people working, a lot of young people, and then successfully we also did the Backwater Fish Market, the steel structures, we put it there. And trust me, I did it with other young people, not old people, as in old, young people.
And what was the problem with that?
Actually, yeah, we had a problem. I had a problem. I won't say we. I had a problem. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you my mistakes. I'm not going to forgive myself in this interview. I'll tell you all my mistakes. I made some mistakes. And I will be happy to talk about these mistakes today because if I speak about my mistakes, I'm saving other young people.
Exactly.
By talking about these mistakes. It's nothing serious, but it was made serious by some people. I never thought that I was a threat. I never thought that I was a threat to some people. I just see myself as an ordinary competitor, winning jobs, But to a lot of people, I was a threat to them, so they had to treat me like a threat. Because, as I said, I won all these jobs and I was just winning like this. So this was when all these problems have to start. People have to, people start fighting, people start saying things, you know. And at the end of the day, I thought that my workshop was robbed, but it wasn't robbed. Recently, after 7 years, I knew that it wasn't robbed. This is just recently something happened that I will not, talk about here. I can speak about it because it's something else. Maybe we will talk about it another time. But all I know is that someone packed his truck with a group of people and took everything in the store. Everything. Everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. It was like 6 years of hard work and determination. This was like 6 years of so many sleepless nights, because even my neighbors will tell you that I will work till late every day. I will work from Monday to Sunday, it doesn't matter, you know. And I was vilified, you know. But guess what happened? We will come that we will come to that, by the end of this interview, you know. We did a lot of, intricate jobs. I will tell you, I have never done a simple project in the Gambia, even till today. Maybe this is my life, this is my fate. I will tell you what I'm doing right now, and you won't believe it. You won't believe it's a young Gambian who was born in Halfdai, raised up in Tobacco Road, doing these things all over Africa, all over the world even. I will tell you. So, this was what happened. I started this company from nothing, and I made it, to something, to a company delivering projects worth hundreds of thousands. Participating in projects worth millions of euros and dollars, So my biggest problem was that why people were so interested in destroying me, wherein they should have been interested in how I turned just $200 to a company, and it was very simple. And guess what? I did it again. This new company that I'm running was just from nothing, because after working so hard for so long, I had to be broke again. I have to go nuts again. I have to lose everything I had. Yeah, including my parents, because I lost my father during this time,
And what happened to 2015?
2015, a very important year. I'll tell you what happened and how did they succeed in destroying this whole hard work, Technical Horizon. In 2015, my father was ill. He was, I have to apologize to my siblings to talk about this before a camera. My father was attainted by a disease, by something that was toxic, because he was doing panel beating. So the oxyacetylene and his painting hall, his painting room, the aerosol attained his lungs. This stuff attained his respiratory system. So at the end of the day, it was terminal. He was so ill and he couldn't make it. So within a week after that, my mother also was hospitalized, both of them. So tell me, a young man having both of his parents hospitalized, who am I to be normal? So at that time, everything was so, slow on my side. And I had jobs, I had contracts, everything was delayed. And of course, there were so many other things happening. So this was the time when everything was taken in my workshop. And guess what happened? The people who were so close to me, those ones who were very close to me, like people who worked for me, were against me. Some of them, not all, I can say all, some of them are good friends. And they have to connive with some competitors to going to the clients and telling them, oh, he's going to go away. It was a whole setup that they succeeded. This is what happened in 2015. So everything collapsed, and I knew that everything collapsed, and I knew that I can't just make it like that because there was a trap ready, you know. So I had to leave. I left. I left with nothing.
How did you manage to rise through this rich road?
Yeah, what happened was this, you know, when you lose something, you don't have to stay in the problem. You always have to work on moving out of the problem. You don't have to be, you know, crying, staying in the problem, or trying to see who is saying what, or who is trying to poke you, you know, who is lying against you, who is even exaggerating a problem that might happen. For example, you give me $1 to do something for you, and then it happened unfortunately that something, you know, went wrong somewhere, and then, oh no, I gave him $20. It was $1, for example. You know, so I was like this, okay. I worked so hard for so long to be where I was, and it happened to be this way. Do I have to get stuck, or do I have to fight again? So this was it. But before all this, my problem was my dad by then, because he was, you know, because I knew I was going to lose him in few weeks or maybe within a month. So I could not process that. I could not process losing my father, the one whom I used to be with all the time, having coffee, you know, eating and all that, you know, chatting. So I made sure he came here, and unfortunately he died in the hospital here, you know. And then my mother, you know, wasn't well, you know, suffering with multiple strokes. You know, at a point she started getting better. Then I had to move, you know. I moved around Africa, you know, with some companies, and, you know, fortune smiled on me at a point where I had to fly in another part of the world, in another continent. And, you know, things started changing. And I started again taking care of my mother, you know. You know, and I happened to meet some of the greatest engineers in the world, you know, yeah. And I happened to be part of some of the greatest projects in the world, you know, yeah, yeah. I've worked for one of the most expensive mining projects in the world, you know, where I was in multiple aspects: quality director, QA/QC inspector, lead QA/QC supervisor, you know, quality manager, you know. And things started changing, you know. But you see, in my life, what I believe is there is no need for me to give up. And I have never given up. I have never given up an inch in my life. So another sad thing came to me, you know, in 2019 when things started, you know, stabilizing. I lost my mother. So today, if you're looking for the proper definition of an orphan, here I am, you know. And despite all this hard work, despite all these tries that I've been going through, you know, still the fight is around. You don't believe it? The fight is around. But why is it around? Why will people lie about you? It's not because you're bad, it's because of they're scared of you. You know, if you see a young entrepreneur, you know, like me, working, and you will see a big CEO whose worth could be maybe 5 or 10 times more than I, you know, lying about me, is that because they know I'm back in the market, and they know I'm back to take a fair share. Yeah, so they don't want that. You know, some will threaten you, some will, you know, try to come into your space to impose themselves, you know, to otherwise impose some hegemonic attitude, you know. But what I always say is that I'm an entrepreneur, and I own my company. It belongs to me. And I have gone a very long way, you know, to be here today, I will tell you that today my company is dealing with the biggest port and logistic company in the world, and we're doing some of the most serious interventions successfully.
Really would like to know, what are your obstacles today? Are you facing any direct threats?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the obstacles will always be there. You know, they are not going away. They are not going away because for some people, competing is not something they're not ready for. The only way they can compete you is to get into your personal life or to set you up. So it's like we're living in a way that we have to be careful every day. You have to look at every step that you're taking. It's hard, but we're doing it. And, we're expanding also. So the challenges are always there. Sure. But at least I have been through something that cannot happen to me again today. It is not happening. Like what the guy said, "Duma ko nangoti, munuma dalat." No, no more again. No more again. You know, and and I think I will share my experiences with a lot of young people. Don't just hire people like that. That was my mistake. And my other big mistake was that I just wanted to expand like that without better studying who, with whom, and where am I expanding. This was my crime. This was my only crime, because I was trying to expand, because I was trying to help people, because I was trying to make it cheap. And this was not okay for a lot of people. So they have to use some of those people I was helping against me.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, a lot of things happen. But you see, today, I will tell you, people made their judgment about me. As far as they're concerned, I'm never coming back, especially to Gambia. As far as they're concerned, I'm never ever gonna make it again in my life. This was their judgment. For some people, it's like he is over. Is that true? Is that true? Where am I? At least I'm having on a red tie.
And Majo, can you talk about your investment company?
Yeah, I'll be happy to talk about this investment company. You see, I am going to base it, I'm going to relocate it to the Gambia. It's not only the investment company. Today, we have signed contracts with, I will start with the education sector, okay. Because today I'm doing a lot of things, like with the education sector. What happened is that we have signed contracts with some of the best vocational schools in the Caribbean, because I recently realized that people are finding it very hard to go and study in Europe, so at least to give an alternative, because in the Caribbean you have the CVQ and you have good schools and everything is okay, everything is well regulated, so in order even to enhance the relationship between Africa and the Caribbean, I have signed contracts with some schools, some vocational schools, and I'm opening that office. I'm going to pilot it from the Gambia. Yeah, I am opening an office in the Gambia wherein we will help students who want to go to the Caribbean to study, to have their way easy, to do the link with the school, to do the paperwork, to help them get their admissions and the necessary documents, in order to be legally, residing in those countries to study. For the investment company, it is about energy. It is about IPPs and PPPs, because we know Africa is with a deficit, when it comes to energy. Africa needs more energy. So this company is actually working with investors in this field, to help build more power plants, whether they're PV systems or whether they're the other, model, facile or whichever that a government might need. We are ready to help them, to accompany them. But as I said, I'm starting it from my home country, the Gambia. you know. So that's about the investment company. And also we will be organizing some exchange between Africa and the Caribbean, and between Africa and some parts of Asia. We've worked so hard on this for the past 2 years. We've been traveling, we've been signing contracts and signing MOUs, and we will just launch everything soon.
So, Majo, what kind of skills would you advise to young people to go for?
Yeah, you see, this is an important question. I'll give you an example with some countries like India, or like the Philippines, or even Indonesia. If you visit some of the biggest projects in the world, you'll find these people, especially in the oil and gas. You'll find lots of welders. They'll tell you, I'm from the Philippines, and some will tell you, I'm from India or from Indonesia. Here, they are able to supply manpower to the rest of the world. I'll tell you why. Because this is something that they have embedded within their education system. You understand? For example, you will hear someone telling you that I did metal work. Okay, you did metal work, and then what? Are you able to be part of the job market? That's the question. You see, somebody will tell you, I'm a welder. Okay, you're a welder. Okay, fine. Are you needed in the job market? For example, I had to recruit for some companies recently. I received boxes of CVs, and it was melting my heart that I cannot take some of them, or a lot of them even, I'll tell you. You see, there are courses that will just recycle you automatically into the job market. There are certain courses, okay, they're good. But for example, if you want to hire somebody who did 20 years in an ordinary welding workshop, learning how to weld a gate, he will tell you, I'm a welder. Yes, it's true he's a welder, but can you send this person into the oil and gas industry? You cannot do that. He will need to do some more trainings. He will need to go through a process. So instead of wasting all that time doing something that can only keep you where you are, why not, take your time, go and learn how to do 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, or 6G welding. You understand? Try to be certified into the various aspects of welding, wherein you can get a job anywhere in the world. You understand? For example, E&I, electrical and instrumentation. Sometimes when you need this type of personnel, you have to struggle. You have to struggle to get them. So there are lists of courses that people need to do. You don't just need to go and do electrical. It's fine. It is the base. But you need to know exactly what is the market asking for. So today, Africa, it's all about oil and gas. I said it recently. There was a seminar. Africa is all about oil and gas. Africa is all about mining. This is Africa today. Africa is all about agro-industry. You understand? Africa is all about railway. Africa is all about, when I say mining, whenever you say mining, of course you have to talk about a railway line, a locomotive. So we must be ready to take up these jobs. And these are jobs that will not just get up from your house and say, give me a job. It doesn't work like that. You need to go through some trainings. For example, I'll give you take Guinea-Conakry. If you go to CBG, 99% of them are Guineans. They run the locomotive, they run the wagons, they run the tippler, the secondary crusher, the primary crusher. they maintain the conveyor systems. I was part of that project. It was a very big project. You understand? So we must be ready to train. And this training, sometimes we want to wait for, people to bring them, but we can go for them too. Like my father was not feeding us with a silver spoon. I had to go for them. You understand? But still, nonetheless, I believe I have a responsibility in this, and I believe I had to write something, and I believe I have to set up a school. Of course, I'm planning to do this. I have to set up a welding school that will certify people and that will send them in the job market. And secondly, my company is a recruitment company. I do hire for the bigger companies. I've been working as a consultant also for a lot of companies, and I am going to base it in the Gambia. And of course, I will train as much as I can, and I will certify as much as I can. I don't want to say everything, what type of certification, because I don't want anybody to preempt me. Of course, you know how it works. But I'm opening it, inshallah, very soon, and we hope that it works, and we hope that the young people will benefit in this, and get into the job market and get their dollars pocketed by them.
Seeing that you are already in the education business, would like to know, last but not least, what are you up to today?
To grow again, at least not to do, to do with the way I did the last time. I was young. I was very young, and I'm still young, but at least not to do the same mistakes. Mistakes are not right. They're always wrong, but sometimes they're normal. It's human. It's human. You learn, and for me, I've learned in the hard way. At least I know I'm expanding and I'm doing it the right way, and at least I'm not scared this time. At least that was like 7 years ago, so there's a change. And for those who think they can do it again, well, welcome. I'm waiting. Even here, I'm not even talking about there, even right here, some people, I'm waiting. I am waiting. It is not that Majobe like 7 years ago or 10 years ago. It's another one. Yes, it is another one. It is another Majobe who is well traveled, who have seen a lot of things. So I thank God, and I have to thank everyone who has helped me before. I was not alone. I was never alone. Some people will not, want me to mention their names, but I was not alone. And my siblings, my family, my beautiful kids, and I thank God for everything. My life is a blessing, and I'm back on my feet. And today, it's just something else. I will tell you more after. We will do more of this. There are lots of things that I'm hiding. It's like they want to come out, but I have to keep them, And life has been good. It's good. I must thank the government of the Gambia, and I must thank His Excellency, Mr. Adama Barrow, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, for his kindness and for his, kind attention, Because you see, the change in Gambia is like a rising tide. It lifts all boats, It's lifting all boats. That's what rising tides do, I am also thanking His Excellency, Mr. Hadrami Sidibe, and his assistant, Mrs. Patukine Job. Mr. Hadrami Sidibe is the ambassador of the Gambia here. He's the High Commissioner, and he is like a father and very helpful, with great advices, And at the end of the day, there is no place like home, And I thank you so much, Mr. Sidibe, I thank the government of the Gambia, and I thank everyone in the Gambia. As I said, I was alone, but I was not alone. You know, I was with some very good Gambians who have been accompanying me. You know, and you know, I am out of words, but let's see what happens, inshallah, in the near future. Thank you very much.
That's great. So thanks for answering our questions, and I know that will be really useful for young people.
Thanks.
I'll be really happy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.